to my YouTube channel. We are going to go through a Yin Yoga flow that is all about rest and relaxation. So come to the mat in a comfortable way. I like to just put out a big blanket on top of my mat. Definitely bring blocks if you don't have blocks, books. If you don't have any of that, that's okay. But I know most people have pillows and blankets. So definitely bring pillows and blankets, at least 2 pillows and a blanket. It just helps bring a lot more accessibility and support in these yin postures. And it allows you just to kind of sit in each posture a little bit better and find a lot more stretch and a deep breath. So let's get started and let's enjoy this flow. The practice super gentle and accessible for anybody that can come on the ground and kind of do some work. So we are going to start seated. I like to bring a pillow right underneath my glutes just to bring some space, some lengthening of the spine so I can sit up taller and find a lot more accessibility. So we're going to start here, and I'm going to have us kind of extend our legs and drop our hands to our side. And we're going to just start with shaking the limbs out. So I know it feels a little weird. I might feel a little silly, but I want us to kind of start by moving the body a little bit so that we are getting rid of any stagnant energy or energy that we no longer need or no longer want, and replacing it with the energy that we do want and need. So just taking a moment, getting in our body here, getting ready to move and to sit with each posture. Yin is a little different. It's only a couple postures and we're sitting in them for several minutes, finding deep stretches and finding a breath that is deep, and we can find a connection with ourself. So a couple moments here, inhaling in, shaking off, exhaling out. Inhaling in one more time, and exhale, coming to stillness. So our first posture is going to be a wide-legged forward fold. So I like to bring 2 blocks, or if you don't have blocks, if you have books, you can use those too. I like to put them in a straight line right in front of me. And if I have a pillow or a bolster or a couple pillows or bolsters, I like to put them right on top of those blocks. So you have a big, nice, comfy prop right in your midline that is right to your height. That feels good, okay? So inhaling in, we're going to bring those legs out wide, away from the mat, really sinking our legs down, our glutes down. So maybe we even use our hands to activate lifting the thighs, lifting the glutes up. That way we can really root into the mat and the floor below us. So inhaling in, we lift the arms all the way up to the sky. Really deep stretch, big inhale, lifting up, and exhale, we forward fold right in front of us onto that prop. And just gently let your head kind of hang down. You don't have to overextend yourself. Just find that comfortable spot where you find that stretch in the hips, in the inner thighs, the hamstring maybe, and even that low back. Making sure to keep our feet active. Boy, we really find that deep stretch in the legs and the glutes. Inhaling in, just noticing how we feel this morning. Maybe we're tired, overwhelmed, or maybe we're feeling good. I know a lot of things are happening in the world, good and bad. And there's a lot of feelings that can be overwhelming. And something that I've been sitting with lately, that has been coming to my mind lately, is that grief and joy can simultaneously work at the same time, they can collide together, and they can move together. And I think that's an important reminder, especially when we see just so much heartache and sadness in the world on our fingertips through a phone, that it's easy to lose hope or lose joy. But then we remember that there are a lot of beautiful things that the world has to offer. Just even human connection is something so powerful. Communities, culture, just so many things that can bring joy. And recognizing that we can both feel the grief and the sadness and the joy and the happiness as well. What a perfect way to describe yin and yang yoga. Yin yoga. It's all about finding time to slow down, which is often very different than what we are doing day to day. Just going through things, hustling, moving. And it's important to just sit, be still with our breath, and reconnect with ourselves. Inhaling in, not forgetting our breath here. Noticing how the muscles kind of lose that tension as we bring breath to those areas. So, as you're sitting here, with each breath, maybe we bring that breath to the hips, or maybe we bring that breath to the back. For the ribs, we let them elongate and find space. Maybe bringing that breath to the neck. And feeling free to maybe do neck circles back and forth. There's no right or wrong in yin. You don't have to be perfectly still. Challenging ourselves to find stillness is important. So it's kind of fun to play around with that in yin. Inhaling in with a deep breath and exhaling out. I want you to gently just move your fingers over to the left leg. We're just going to do a gentle side stretch here for a second. Inhaling in, exhaling out, coming back through to the middle, and then over to the right leg. Finding a deep stretch, inhaling in, exhaling out. Good. Coming back through to the middle. Slowly rolling all the way up, one vertebrae at a time. Head is the last to rise. Good. All right. Our next posture, we're going to have a couple of options. So, this is all going to be focusing on the hip. So, you can either play around with a pigeon pose. So, we're going to bring that left leg in and we're going to sweep that right leg out. And here you can find a pigeon. You can bring a block right underneath that left glute. And you can bring that bolster right in front of you and just kind of sink down. If that is not a comfortable option for you, you can remove those and we can come into deer legs. So we're going to bring that left leg still in front of us with a right angle, and then that back right leg will come into a right angle as well. And that's a way to stretch our hip. If neither of those feel good, we're going to come into a butterfly position. So feet are together. Thighs are splayed out wide, knees are out, and we're going to use those blocks in that bolster to lean forward. So those are your three options. You can even play around with all three if you want to. I just wanted to give a couple of options because I know not all of these are super accessible if you have maybe hip issues or just lower mobility in the low back and hips. So play around with what feels good. Even if the butterfly pose doesn't work, you can come into full extension with the legs and then just come into a forward fold that way. But finding that position, that hip position that feels good to you. So a lot of emotions are attached to the hips. We store a lot of those emotions in the hips. So tending to this can be not fun all the time because a lot of times just in general our hips are tight for people. We're always moving. Even if your job is like an office job, those muscles are contracting all the time. They're getting squeezed, they're getting constricted. And so we naturally hold a lot of tension in our hips just from everyday life. But our emotions can be tied in that as well. And so when we do work on hip mobility or just deep stretching in the hips, we can find a bit of emotional release sometimes. It can feel a little vulnerable, and that's okay. If at any point it's too much, just back out of it and find a different posture that feels good to you. Inhaling in, just sinking down, maybe kind of noticing which side feels maybe a little bit more tense or what side feels a little bit more mobile. And just taking a check in with our body. Inhaling in one deep, big breath and exhaling it out through the mouth or nose. Whatever posture you're playing in, I want you to slowly lift yourself out of it and you're going to switch sides. So we started with the left, or maybe you started with the right, and you're going to switch over to the other side. So again, we can either be in pigeon pose, deer legs, or maybe butterfly pose, or just a forward fold, legs extended. Inhaling in, bringing a deep breath to the belly and really expanding that area. Exhaling out. Inhaling in. Noticing where our mind is going to. Maybe it's maybe it's all the things that we have to do after this. Maybe it's all emotions that we're feeling. Whatever it is, let yourself unravel it on this mat. Allow it to let go. Allow yourself to take in this moment with your breath and with your body. How important that is when we're always on the go. I know people hear it all the time that it's important to fill your cup. And I know that sounds cheesy, but it's so true. You really can't give out to others into the world if we're constantly on E. We have to fill our cups. And I'm not saying yoga is the only thing, but it's such a great tool to regulate our nervous system, process our emotions, and then just stretch our bodies. Good. Taking one more deep inhale in and exhaling out. Slowly lift up, and we're going to come onto our backs. So bring your pillows with you. You can move the blocks or the books off to the side. You're going to bring those pillows right underneath the hip, underneath the sacrum. And we're going to come into what would be I'm sure it has a more beautiful name, but I look at it as a psoas release. So your psoas muscle is a very big and important muscle in the body. And while we're sitting here with that bolster underneath our sacrum, our legs are extended. If it's more comfortable to leave one leg bent while you stretch one leg out, that is perfectly okay. To me, I actually get almost a deeper stretch bending one leg and leaving the other leg extended. So just try that out. But this stretch is really activating and stretching that psoas muscle. And that muscle is what attaches our upper body to our lower body. So it's very important. It helps us move. It helps us bring our legs up and back and forward and all the good things. And this muscle is very easily annoyed. It gets mad very easily. And so taking time to stretch it out gives us more flexibility. It allows us to have more movement in our hips, especially if you're someone who likes to walk, or even if you're sitting at a desk. That muscle is usually pulling on the inside of the thigh, up the groin, and that area can get really mad. And so this stretch is a really good way to open it up and allow for some space. So maybe we bring our shoulder blades in together a little bit more so our heart space is shining forward, maybe tucking the chin into the chest slightly. Bringing that breath right to the pelvis, right to the low belly. Inhaling in. Maybe activate that foot for even a deeper stretch. Inhaling in and exhaling out. I'm going to bend that foot, the other opposite foot, and extend the other leg out. So I started with my right leg. So now I'm going to bend my left leg and extend the right leg out. Inhaling in, bringing that breath to the pelvis, lifting the heart space up. Visualizing the spine elongating, even the internal organs and all the deep muscles that you don't necessarily see outwardly. Imagine them being stretched and given space to breathe. Taking one deep final breath in and exhaling it out. We're going to extend both legs for just one breath, activating both feet, inhaling in and exhaling out. Good. We're going to bend both knees and we're going to lift that up so that we can move the pillows out from underneath us. We're going to stay on our backs. But here, if you have a block, or you can even use your pillow as well. I like the block just because it has a little bit more width to it. You're going to put it right between your shoulder blades. And it allows us to bring that chin and that head back. So we're opening up the front of the neck. And this is called a supported fish pose. So either bringing the block and the pillow between the shoulder blades and just allowing the head to kind of sit back. And the front of the neck, front of the chest is really open here. This is a big heart opener, big opener for the throat muscles, for the neck. Inhaling in, soaking in this moment. If it doesn't feel comfortable to have your legs extended, you can bend your knees here and keep your feet just firmly planted into the mat. You decide how and what feels good in your body. But this is a great stretch. People who have a lot of neck issues, or even people who have jobs that are constantly on, maybe on a computer, maybe you're looking at your phone a lot, which we all do. So this is really a great stretch for everybody. And allows us to kind of reposition those muscles back and not have to be so overworked. Finding our breath here, inhaling in and exhaling out. Maybe it feels a little vulnerable to have your heart shining forward. But see if you can sit with that uncomfortability just a little bit longer. Reminding yourself that you are allowed to take up space, to shine. Taking one more deep breath in and exhaling out. Lifting up slowly, moving with grace. We're going to come into our final position of Shavasana. But here, I really like to bring a supported Shavasana to my practice. So here, we're going to bring those blocks together. I like to bring one where it's up tall and one that's just laying down flat. You can bring that pillow or bolster right on top of that and just sink down into that pillow so that your heart and chest is lifted up, but your head is still aligned kind of with that spine. So it allows you to just comfortably lean back. And you can put your feet and legs however you want. You know, some people like to bring it into a butterfly pose, or feet are together, knees are out, or maybe you just keep them into extension. Whatever feels good to you. Just enjoying this last couple moments of this practice, of this class, allowing this time to refill our cups, calm our nervous system, and hopefully move through the rest of our day and week with the reminder that both grief and joy can simultaneously happen together, and that we can acknowledge that, put good work out into the world for the people and things around us, as well as taking care of ourselves. Maybe we open our palms up, receiving what this practice and what the universe has in store for us. Receiving energy and love, rest, relaxation, hope, joy. Giving gratitude to our bodies, giving gratitude to ourselves for taking time this morning for ourselves. Powerful stuff, man. Ending this practice with a deep inhale in. We're going to bring our hands together, coming to the third eye, right between the eyebrows. Inhaling in and exhaling out. Namaste. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this flow. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel, and be on the lookout for weekly new videos every Sunday. Thank you so much for all the support.